What's up, YouTube? WK Dad. Show you guys my Dark World build. This is a budget version. I've been testing for 2 weeks. Even during my troll moments, I've been testing this version. It's kind of crazy. When I got the structure deck, you open it up and it tells you should buy tour guide to go with the deck, and I thought that was pretty hilarious. Well, at least it said to get the extreme victory to get the tour guide, but we know how that goes. Buying a single pack, trying to pack that one high dollar secret. So doing a video a little different. Normally I have the deck laid out. You guys tell me if you like it this way, you prefer it all laid out better. I'm outside and it's kind of windy and there's noise and people got the music on and the cars are passing by. Lighting in the house is too terrible, so that's why I've been doing videos outside. This new place is, this lighting is just awful. So anyway, start off Triple Grapha, boss monster of the deck. You got to run through, obviously. You guys know what he does. Blows a card up, discarded by a card effect. If your opponent happens to do it, then you get to recruit a monster out of his hand and it joins your army. La la la, that shit is so trolling. I run a Tech Silva simply because in a mirror match he's freaking amazing. He's an additional beater. A lot of times you need to get plays off, and you can attribute your Grapha for Silva, bounce your Silva, or what have you, just to get plays off. You know, they don't kill your other monster on board, and you need a Fiend for gates. You tribute it for Silva. It's a random beater, and to be honest, you guys, it rarely gets stuck in your hand because we're running one, and we have a lot of discard outlets. Double Vage, a normal summonable monster to retrieve Grapha with. He's a level 4. You can often get his effect off to get the special summon, so that way you don't have to burn your normal summon just to get Grapha from the grave. That's why I run him. Braun, he's a beast. With the 300 boost he gets from the field spell, he's 21, so he runs over Thunder King. You can put serious damage on board. You swing with Braun, uses effect, discard Beige, discard Silva. I mean, right there, that's 41 damage on board, and you have the field spell, that's additional 600 damage on the board. So that's why I like Braun. Of course, excuse me, got a recruiter for everything Dark World related in the entire deck, Snow. She's freaking amazing. And the fact that if your opponent happens to discard it, you get basically a monster reborn from their graveyard, and you get the search. The 1700 attack stats is pretty nice because you can run over annoying cards like Thunder King with the field spell up. You can run over Tengus with the field spell up. You can run over Banishers, Quackmire Drago with the field spell up. So, you know, there's just so many options that this deck has, and so many misconceptions that, well, I'll just run this card in and goodbye Dark World. No, that's not how it works. The deck has options. Properly building the deck, properly testing it against your worst matchups is how you build the deck. Draw power, Brow. Again, this is the budget version, so we're running double Scar and finish it off Sangan. Next, we got 2 Pot of Duality. Help us dig for our pieces. We lack tour guides here, so digging for key components is so necessary since we lack the aggressiveness and the searching power and a lot of the options that tour guide gives us. Triple Gates, our main discard engine, gives our Fiends a boost. You know what it does. Dark World Dealings. Now, I advocated not running too many of these at first, but after extensive testing, if you're playing a mirror match, you can pretty much get an idea of what you're playing after the first turn or two. If you are, don't play the Dealings unless you know that whatever they drop through the effect isn't going to hurt your setup. But if it's not a mirror match, this is so amazing to get off of Snow and just keep your engine going. Ditch your Snow with it, ditch Grapha, keep making plays, so it's sick. You know, with searchable discard outlet, draw power is just stupid. Double Dark World Lightning. People are still running people are running Bottomless, people are running Torrential, people are still setting monsters, especially if you have a Graph on board. I'm not gonna if my opponent has a Graph on board with the field spell of his 3000 attack, I am not gonna normal summon my Sangan just so I can take 2000 to the face. or 1300 to the, or 2700 or whatever to the face, or yeah, 1700 to the face, whatever. I'm not going to take all the damage to the face, so I'm going to set, and actually people are going to set against your big beaters. Dark World Lightning clears the monsters. You get a good read in the back rows, you know they're not chainable. Dark World Lightning clears that out. Double drag down to the grave. I'm not running 3 again. I don't have the tour guides, so I don't want to get too clogged up on that, and I had to make room for Pot of Duality. Card destruction, again, if you're not in a mirror match, card is amazing. If you are in a mirror match, after you play, I played mirror matches when I built the deck. Drag down to the grave, see they got ass, have a handful of spells. Then you card destruction them. I mean, if they top deck just one Dark World monster, it's not going to make that big of an impact, especially if you know they open ass. That's why it's great. Foolish Burial throws your Graph into the grave so you can get your Graph train going. Then we got the staples, of course, Reborn, Dark Hole Heavy, Traps, Dark Deal. Basically turns all your opponent's normal spells into confiscation on a random card. I like this deck. It protects my setups, so when I'm about to play Drag Down, I can set my hand and then activate it. Or if I know my opponent has Pot of Duality or Monster Reborn or Heavy Storm or Dark Hole or whatever, after a Drag Down, I can let them keep that in their hand, knowing that they are forced to activate one of the normal spells, and then I can mess up their plans with the deal. Again, we don't have the tour guide, so we're running double skill drain. It poops on a lot of decks this format. Escape, I don't like the high life point cost of return, but of course that's an option. Escape is so sick. You banish Snow for the Gates effect, draw whatever, play Escape from Dark Dimension, get your Snow back, bounce Snow to your hand, especially something Grapha. It's kind of nasty. Then we're playing some virus cards. Deck Devi destroys plants. Eradicator destroys back row heavy decks. And Trap Death Shoot. So we have all these cards that peek in our opponent's hand, including the drag downs. So you got to run a pair of Mind Crush to go with that. One of the beauties of this deck is I do not have an extra deck. I have a random Stardust and 2 Utopias. And in all the games, in the 2 weeks of testing, those are the only monsters from the extra deck I brought out. It was a Stardust and Utopia twice. I didn't even make Scrap Dragon. It wasn't even necessary. I just made a Stardust randomly because I reborn somebody's Delta Flyer and raised the level of my Beige and went into Stardust to protect my setup. Another time, I can't remember what happened, but he Mind Crushed Snow or something for some stupid reason. I took his Thunder King from his grave, summoned my Beige, made Utopia. So it was crazy. And so again, I don't run any tuners. I don't believe you should be polluting your deck with cards like Effect Veiler or Blackluster Soldier. It contradicts with your Drag Down to the Graves. They are not fiends, so they're useless with gates. And since we don't have tour guides and we're not running warnings, this deck is very budget, and quite honestly, this deck is very, very competitive. On a side note, YCS Columbus was this weekend. I noticed that there were no Dark Worlds in the top. I believe that is purely attributed to the fact that there were a lot of terrible builds going around. Again, I saw decks running Blackluster Soldier. I heard about people running all kind of random shit in their decks. They were really afraid of running Dark World Dealings and card destructions, and I know I was one of the people who said don't run those cards at first. And like I said, at first, because everybody's going to be on the bandwagon. But after extensive testing, you realize, okay, I can be able to tell that I'm not in a mirror match, so it's safe to play these cards. Or if you are in a mirror match, you say, well, I'm not going to play these cards. It also means my opponent has cards they're not going to be able to play, and I'll just side them out game 2 and 3. So just outthinking, just thinking, the scenarios, outplaying your opponents, and those kind of things can be avoided, and you can make the better plays. It's Dub K Dan, I'm out.